but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. These stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch the goat sleeves now. They don't slip, they don't slide, nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time, and these are featherweight and super comfortable.
Legend begins where heroes end.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards sliding all game. These are a game changer. Put them on, you don't even notice them. They're comfortable, keep you going until finish.
It shows how fast you move on the pitch because it's stuck to the shin bone and does not slip and slide all around your shin.
No distractions, no readjusting, just focus on the match. What I like about these is you can wear them all day. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. The material is soft and supportive. It's the perfect mix of comfort and performance. These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there. These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. What I like about these is you can wear them all day. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. The material is soft and supportive. It's the perfect mix of comfort and performance. The first thing I notice is that these guards don't move. Once they're in place, they stay there. I can tackle, sprint, or slide without adjusting them. You feel secure and locked in. My first impressions of the GOATS guards, honestly, super light and super clean. Straight away, you can tell they're built to move with you. No bulk, just sleek protection that actually feels pro. These guards don't move. The first thing I notice is that these guards don't move. Once they're in place, they stay there. I can tackle, sprint, or slide without adjusting them. You feel secure and locked in. No bulk, just sleek protection that actually feels pro. My first impressions of the GOATS guards, honestly, super light and super clean. Straight away, you can tell they're built to move with you. No bulk, just sleek protection that actually feels pro. These grips actually help you push off. It's like every bit of power goes straight through the ground. No slip, no wasted energy. You feel sharper, quicker, and more connected. It's a proper level up. I can't believe my GOATS pack has arrived. My first impression of the GOATS grips, honestly, clean design and a premium feel. Straight out of the pack, you can tell they're built different. Soft stretch and solid grip panels. They just feel like performance gear, not regular socks. These grips actually help you push off.
Hi everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome to another weekly coaching call. I cannot believe it is Thursday already and it is the 18th of December. Wow. Right, what an hour we've got for you. We've got an exciting 60 minutes to get through. I am very limited on time this evening. I actually do have a 7:30 as well, so I need to make sure we are done on the dot. So I'm going to, without further ado, get straight to it and work through what we need to do. The first thing that we're going to cover off and touch base on is a little bit about remembering, if you want to comment and drop any questions in. We're getting busier and busier. We had over 200 people on the live call on Tuesday, and I didn't realise it was only when I scrolled through. We had that many different questions that we had to sort of park a few of the questions. So get your questions in early. If you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're not going to be able to ask a question. So remember, subscribe and we can hopefully try and get through that question. As ever, we'll just touch base again a little bit about, I'm just going to change over my screen for you and hopefully you guys can see it. But we've got a little bit coming up in relation to our trials, which we're going to talk about in a moment. And I'm just going to double check on my screen that you guys have got the right screen and that you aren't seeing something completely different. Perfect. Okay, so just a reminder, guys, in relation to the upcoming trials in January, if you are based in Brisbane, Sydney or Melbourne, we've got all of our links up there, and we will get all of them sent across for you, so to make sure that you guys can see them, and we'll put them all up for you, so you should be able to see all of the trial links now. So again, we've got Brisbane, Melbourne and Sydney. Again, we have still got a couple of tickets for each venue free. We did, I think we said on the last call, we got 50 free tickets available. So if you are interested in one of them, you can literally hit this link. And to pull it up just inside the school platform, if you just go to our trials at the top, just type in trials and it'll pull up the latest post for you. And then you should be able to see Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane and click on. We've had a lot of questions from families in New Zealand and families in Perth and Western Australia asking, can they attend these trials? 100%, guys, you can attend the trials. We've even got one family that's going to be joining us. They're going to fly in, do Sydney on the Saturday and then redo the trial in Melbourne again on the Sunday. So there's no rules on that one, guys, that you can only sign up to one. You can sign up to as many of them. And while there's still free tickets there, I advise everyone to jump on that one, guys, and have a little chance of winning yourself a $10,000 trip to the Premier League next year. Now, just to follow on, we've got a couple of things that we've pinned up recently. So one of the things that I wanted to cover, if you're new to the platform and to the program, not sure where to start, this is your first go-to point, and you will notice that it will speak about different settings. So follow the numbers in the classroom, and then it talks about your different sections. So I'll jump back out here. If you go to classroom, you'll see all of the sections. Number one's the audio book, two's match analysis, three stat sports. And again, you've got your how-to guide here as well, which has got all of your explainers and videos in to help you navigate. One of the other big ones, guys, we'll just touch on it again, but just recently we had to put in place, we finalised our community safety rules, because obviously we've got players who are under 18 in here with us, and from time to time, mums and dads leave them online whilst they're doing stuff around the house, which is fine as long as the parents give the players permission. But just remember that we need to follow these guidelines and rules. If any adults, whether you're another parent or not, we shouldn't be messaging any other players in here unless obviously you're friends with that particular family and you've got permission to message them. But there is some ground rules in there. And then also, in the event you spot anything or someone's joined our community and they're sending certain messages, please, 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 don't sit on it and wait. Send me a message and say, right, we think there might be a potential issue. And if you think there is, just push it and we can always investigate it and then always feed back to you. But we've got a very, very good school community here. Also, some great messages on the community board, and I've got something pretty exciting for you. Got a nice one there from Khaleesi. Thanks, Khaleesi, if you're online. Also, I did mention, I dropped in a post. Obviously, most of you will be aware, and I did put it in here. I've been a little bit unwell over the past couple of months. Nothing to do with my own fault because I'm an unhealthy person, but just due to an electrocution, and I had a cardiac arrest. But I've got a few little small back issues at the moment, not major, but I just wanted to make sure we were accountable because we've missed 1 or 2 communications and a couple of email threads in the past week or two. So I just wanted to say that's my fault, no one else's fault, just as I'm trying to play a bit of catch up. But if there is anything urgent or pressing, then please, please, please DM me inside the school app. I've always pretty much got my phone next to me side, even if I'm laid up in bed on my back. I'll always get back to you and get one of my team members to get back to you. Also, I know we don't normally speak about the tours and stuff, but I will give it a quick mention. We did put a bit of an update in today, some exciting news around the tours. So if you go into the tour information, so if you come to the top here, if you type in tour and hit enter, it'll take you to the latest tour. Comms, if you go all the way to the bottom, you'll see there's a bit of a spiel from me, which is just there. All of the flight details, dates and times and connecting airports have all been added. Also, you will be getting an email from Shelley and the team as well, giving you this on an email as well. Our next protocol with the tour, we are going to be having a meeting the week of the, I'm just going to look up the date, in and around that first week of the 5th of January, depending on how many people are back from holidays in Australia. We may delay it to the week of the 12th, but we're going to have a meeting with everyone who's coming on tour. We're going to speak about passports, about insurance, any questions that you have got, the new ESTA visas that they have in place for the UK. Don't panic. You can get one of these turned around instantly pretty much, and it costs about £20, which is about $40. One of the questions we got today, do we pay for that? No, unfortunately we don't. You guys have to pay for that. And then look, just wanted to put in a couple of little good news stories and stuff as well before we get into the main content of today's session. But we are going to be announcing a new Premier League style system. Now, we've changed the way the points work on our leaderboards. And you will notice on our 7-day leaderboard, we've got young Khaleesi, who's absolutely flying, and then closely followed behind the Xavier and Mitchell. Now, what we're going to do is, I think Khaleesi has worked out the hack on school, and she knows how to be number one, not only in the 7-day leaderboard, but she's got such a head start on all of you. I feel sorry for everyone else. But we are going to be announcing, starting from the first week in January, a weekly prize. So if you finish at the top of the leaderboard, okay, for a 7-day period, and we're going to give you the days when we're going to announce it. So it's going to be on a Saturday at 10 a.m. Brisbane time, which is a Friday night in the USA. We'll have the same cut-off time every week. You'll win a gift voucher of $30 to use on our GOATS website. If you're top on the 30-day leaderboard, now the way the 30-day leaderboard, it's not going to be a full true 30-day leaderboard, but what we are going to do is we're going to try and work it out with the date so it lines up, but it'll be a month-by-month leaderboard, and that resets every 30 days. So I'm going to watch for when it resets and turns over, and then we'll announce it to you. And then the all-time leaderboard, so going to the 30-day leaderboard, we're going to actually offer, and this is going to be pretty immense, we're going to give away a $100 voucher for the GOATS website. And then at the end of the year, okay, we're going to do a $1,000 gift prize. So at the moment, as you notice, Khaleesi is flying ahead on the all-time leaderboard. But we're going to reset everything back from the 1st of Jan, so everyone will have a chance to get in and to get working hard. Now, we're going to give you some of the tricks on how you can do this and how you can score points. And there's a bit of a secret medicine to it. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks, but I'm not going to give you it all. But my advice would be, if anyone's got Google or ChatGPT, Google or ChatGPT how you can get activity points on Skool. Now remember, Skool is spelled Skool, and it's going to give you guys, Mitchell Davis, Xavier Simon and Khaleesi, you're already doing it. Probably Cooper and Ford a little bit as well. But you guys are pretty much on the money with what you're doing. You're making a lot of comments, you're liking posts, you're leaving nice messages on the community page to other players. That is getting you double, triple and quadruple points on the activity board. So every time you make a comment, every time you reply to a comment, but a little bit of a secret tip, ChatGPT or Google how you can get activity points on Skool, and it's going to give you such an advantage to being top of the leaderboard. But we think Khaleesi and her family have cracked it, and hats off to you guys. Well done in working out the system. All right, now just to finish off, we're just going to go back into here before we go into our main topic. So we have done some of these recent tasks, and we've had beep test results coming in from players, and people are asking questions, and some people are saying they're struggling to DM me. Guys, this is a community and we're all one team. We're all here to support each other. So whether you think you've done well in a beep test or in a football test, or you don't think you've done well, don't ever feel ashamed, guys, to drop it in the community and put your results in, because we're all here to support each other. Just remember, if you ever drop a post, and I'll give you an example. Let's say Joshua Vella has dropped a post here. In this post, if he wants me to be aware that it's here, what you need to do is, and Khaleesi's already demonstrated it here, if you put @ and then put the name of the person you want to see it, if you then click me there, that will basically give me an alert to say that someone's shared or posted something to me. So if you're happy in posting your success stories or unsuccessful stories as well, because unsuccessful stories are what turn us into better people and better players, make sure you always add me in the comments, and I'll be aware, because I will get a notification, and then I'll be really happy then to help you guys work through that and get past it. So hopefully we can get back to that one. And for some reason, hopefully I haven't locked out my screen. We will come back into the live. There we go. So hopefully everyone's got me on the live now. So what we are going to do very, very quickly, guys, we are going to get into the main section of our program for this evening. Before we do that, as ever, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, a quick water break, grab a cup of tea, run the bathroom quickly. We are going to be back in 120 seconds, and I am super excited about what we're going to walk you through in the next couple of minutes.
You don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Goats grips, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.
These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. These stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch the goat sleeves now. They don't slip, they don't slide. Nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time, and these are featherweight and super comfortable.
Legend begins where heroes end.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards.
Okay, everyone, we are going to get straight back into it. So what we're going to cover off today, and I'm excited to bring this one. Now, this was raised by one of the questions that we raised on the platform, and I'll just see if I can pull up the post just to show you. So just bear with me for 2 seconds while I see if we can pull this up. Sorry guys, I've just lost my connection, but I'm hoping that you guys are seeing my screen now. Fingers crossed. So I asked you guys a question and I said I wanted one word answers only, and I said, what's the one thing you're working on tomorrow? And you're only allowed to comment with one word. And I'm so happy that everyone followed the instructions and you just dropped in a one word answer. Now, based from that, one of the things I then was doing, and the reason why I'm doing this, and this will hopefully help with mums and dads, what I'm trying to do is when you guys say, as an example, Alicia at the top said fitness, and I went back and said, love this, perfect. But then as an example, we had Taylor said strength, and then we said, what in particular are you going to work on in strength? And he said a bit of everything, got a beep test and do some more ball work and go into the gym. And then there was a couple of different answers that come out of it. Now, one of the answers that we got was from, I believe it was Ford, stamina. Great one. How will you achieve this? What's your go-to session? Going for a run and then some exercises in the backyard with the ball. Then you will notice on here, I've put when you're doing a run to build stamina, aerobic fitness, the correct heart rate zone is zone 2. Now, this is one thing that most of you won't be aware of, but most of you will have things like an Apple Watch, an Android Watch, access to being able to record your heart rate when you're working. Now, what we're actually going to cover tonight is we're going to cover a little example about heart rate zones and the differences in the different heart rate zones. So I'm going to show you why it's really, really important, because when we speak about heart rate zones and specifically for building stamina, we need to make sure we're in heart rate zone 2. But to be able to understand what's zone 1, what's zone 2, we need to pull it all the way back to the beginning so you fully understand. Now, some of you may know this. If you've got mums and dads who go running, most runners are pretty savvy with the differences between your heart rate zone 1 and a heart rate zone 2. Now, what I am going to set is a challenge on today is, and I'm just going to share this screen, and I'll see if I can pull up this additional screen, which will be pretty good to show you. And you can search this yourself, but you can put in heart rate zones. Now, what we've got with heart rate zones is, if we go into images here, you can actually see there's a mixture of heart rate zones, but let's just click on one and let's see if we can just get a picture up of one. And just to give you guys an example of the differences, but all of the heart rate zones are pretty much identical. So if we're going to look at this particular heart rate zone here, okay, and what we're actually talking about is, we're actually talking about for endurance and stamina, we want using heart rate zone 2. Now, you will notice that when I've spoken to you in the past about doing recovery runs, so we've spoke about non-football activities, and we've said that out of, say, your 16 hours a week, 11 hours of football, 5 hours of non-football, you might decide to go on a recovery run. Now, when you're doing a recovery run, you need to be in the recovery zone, okay? Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to cut and paste this, and I will share this with you back into the group. So you've all got a copy of it, and I will paste that in and share that a little bit later on to everyone back into the group. So if you're doing recovery running, you need to be in zone 1. If you're doing stamina or endurance work, you need to be 60 to 70% of your heart rate. You will never ever really practice outside of your game days, really the aerobic 3, 4 or 5. Now, on your game days, you will find that you go in between zones 3, 4 and 5 quite a lot. But for this particular purpose, we're going to speak about, for Ford, because he raised it, and he gave me the answer within the one-word answer. But I think what you'll have all seen is when that one-word answer was given to me, okay, and when Ford gave me that one-word answer, it's then built into a conversation between me and Ford. So what we find is with players is Ford's like, yeah, I'm going to go out and work on stamina. That's great, but only as long as you actually are comfortable and confident on what it is you've got to do to work on stamina. And a lot of players think you know what you're doing, but this is where I'm here to help you. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to go down one route and do one thing, but it's the other route that you need to go down. So first thing we need to look at is if we're going to be doing a stamina or an endurance run, we need to be in heart rate zone 2. So the first thing you need to do is you need to work out what your maximum heart rate is. So there's a series of tests, and I'm going to share this with you in a little article this evening. And it's basically how you can work out what your heart rate zones are for each level. So as an example, let's say that your maximum, when you're at level 5, your maximum heart rate, as an example, is 100 beats per minute, okay? Just for this particular example. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this on my screen as well. And I'll jump in between the two screens just to build you guys a bit of a better picture and to help you understand it. So as we'll see on here, we'll say we've got our heart rate zones and we've got 1 to 5, okay? And we're trying to find heart rate zone 2 today. Now, if your maximum capacity is 100 beats per minute, anyone who's good at math, you will know that to be in heart rate zone 2, you'll notice it says 60 to 70%, okay? So when you're looking at 60 to 70%, you'll know that it needs to be 60 to 70% of what your maximum heart rate is. And we'll teach you a little bit later on how you can get your heart rate recorded, and we'll cover that off with you in a moment. So if we say that we are at 100 beats per minute maximum, that's what your results is showing. Then what we need to then do is we need to then work out what is 60 to 70%. So this is an easy one because it's 60 to 70. It will actually be 60 beats to 70 beats per minute. Now, if you've set yourself a target to do stamina and you're going to work on stamina or endurance for 30 minutes today, okay? You know you need to be in this window for 30 minutes, okay? So, you have got your heart rate monitor on. It might be connected to your phone. Your heart rate monitor might be connected to your watch. Now, there is some players, and I've got a couple of them, who've got the latest Garmin watches, the latest Apple Ultra 2 watches. The watch that I've showed you that I've got, the Ultra 2, that was the watch that actually saved my life, that actually told me I was having a cardiac arrest. But if you can't afford one of the big top-end watches, don't worry. You can get a basic heart rate monitor online for like $20 and just connect it via Bluetooth to your phone. Now what you do is when you go out for a run, if you know you're going to do 30 minutes and you're working on stamina and endurance, you need to set it so you are looking for your heart rate to be between 60 and 70, which is here, okay? Now, if you notice your heart rate goes to 77 beats per minute when you're running, that means you need to slow down. If it goes below 60, that means you need to speed up. So hopefully that makes sense. And the ideal range you want to get in between is between 60 and 70 beats per minute. So hopefully that will help you understand what we are looking for. Now I am going to put a bit of an explainer in the platform to help everyone with this one. And I am going to record this and cut this up and add it in as well. But again, just to show you, so that's in heart rate zone 2 if we want to work on stamina and endurance. What about if we want to work in heart rate zone 1? Okay, so let's have a little look back on our heart rate zone 1. So zone 1, you'll notice it's sitting between 50% and 60%. And this is recovery. Now you might go, Ray's challenged me to do 2 recovery runs a week. And I am going to do these on a Tuesday and a Sunday. Now, you know, because it's a recovery run, you need to be in between 50 and 60%. And these are the nights or the days you're going to do your run. So, if your maximum heart rate is recorded at 100 beats per minute, which it won't be for most of you, you'll be over 150 easily, but I'm just doing this so the math's easy for everyone to understand. If you've got to be between 50 and 60%, that would mean you need your heart rate to be between 50 beats per minute to 60 beats per minute. And if you see it going above 60, then that means you need to slow down. And if you see it drop below 50, that means you need to speed up. And this is why, if you can afford one or if you've got one, something like an Apple Watch, an Android Watch, a Garmin, they're the go-to pieces of equipment. Now, for some of you might be a little bit late to put in a request for Santa Claus with mum and dad, but maybe, you know, you might want to consider saving up a bit of pocket money, do a bit of extra work. And if you can afford to get yourself a watch, I would advise it, because running with the watch on, especially with the advanced watches, you can set it to say, I want to be between 50 and 60%. So I'm in heart rate zone 1, which is this zone here. And I want to be between 50 to 60%. And what it will do is, if you're going too slow or too fast, it will actually beep at you and it will warn you. So rather than having to look at your watch all the time or look at your phone, which is annoying, you can actually just comfortably and confidently ignore it and just run. Now, the problem where you will come a cropper, and this has happened to me a few times, is if your watch goes dead during your run, you've got to be careful of this. So make sure your watches are charged up. Now, the Garmin watches are amazing. They'll normally have a battery for about 30 days. The Apple Watches and Android watches, you're lucky if you can get 24 hours out of them. So make sure your watches are always charged up to the maximum capacity. So that's just to give you an example of heart rate zone 1 and heart rate zone 2. Now, we are about to go for another short break, and I want everyone, again, if you need to, drop in your questions in the chat, especially if it's to do with heart rate zones. So you start to understand that if you're reporting to me that you're doing a run and it's for stamina, I don't want to then go, I wonder if Ford is actually doing it properly, because I pretty much know he won't be doing it properly. And then if you are doing it properly, Ford, apologies for that, but it just 95% of players don't understand when you're doing a recovery run versus doing an endurance run versus doing a threshold run. And also, depending on your fitness levels, depends on the duration that you should be doing each of these zones. So a recovery run, you could do up to about 45 minutes to an hour, because you may even need to walk to stay in that recovery zone between 50 and 60%. Now, some of you might find an endurance run 15 to 20 minutes is really tough for you. That's okay. But again, you need to make sure that you are within that 60 to 70% of your BPM. So drop any questions in the chat for me. I will bring up the questions when we get back, and we are about to go to our next little quick break. And I'm looking for questions to do with the heart rate zones. And in a moment as well, I am going to wipe the board clean, and we are going to actually showcase to you how you can actually work out what your heart rate zone needs to be and where you are set. So I will just put us back through the magic of technology. I'll put you back to my lovely face and we will get us onto the goat ads, and I'll see you in 2 minutes.
Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats Grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Ghost Grips, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.
These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. These stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch the goat sleeves now. You don't slip, you don't slide. Nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time. In these, are featherweight and super comfortable.
Legend begins where heroes end.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards sliding all game. These are a game changer. Put them on, you don't even notice them. They're comfortable, keep you going until finish.
It shows how fast you move on the pitch because it's stuck to the shin bone and does not slip and slide all around your shin.
No distractions, no readjusting, just focus on the match. What I like about these is you can wear them all day. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. The material is soft and supportive. It's the perfect mix of comfort and performance. These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there.
Hi everyone, I hope you're well. So we've had a couple of questions coming in and I knew I'd kicked up a storm. Khaleesi and the family will be going crazy. I'm not resetting for the year. I'm resetting every 7 days and 30 days. Okay, so to give everyone a chance. Now, for you to understand that end of year prize will be at a 12-month duration. So even though you're top of that leaderboard by a country mile at the moment, Khaleesi, which I take it you will be this time next year, that will get announced on the 1st of December next year. But the ones that reset are the weekly ones and the monthly ones. But you're top on all of them. Keep doing what you're doing. I think you've been Googling or ChatGPT, and I think you know how to hack the system. But good on you if you have. If you're not hacking the system and you're just doing it because you're really engaged in the community, well, you found the magic to getting your points. Now, we are going to be looking at doing it like a Premier League style. I've got a bit of an algorithm and an AI going through at the moment as well, where we might be able to score it on a 3, 2 and 1 base point system as well, where it's 3 points for a win, 1 point for the draw, nothing for a loss. I'm going to explain in the January how we're going to come up with that challenge, and it's going to be a slightly different challenge as well, but it's going to be tasking you guys to come up with ideas for questions, dropping posts in the community, dropping videos, and we're going to reward the points based on a very fair and objective system, and that's going to be for a huge prize as well. So we'll announce that one, which is in a moment. Now, before I get back to the rest of the questions, I'm going to have a little look. They're only resetting for the week, so we've covered that one. What's the safest and best way to find out your maximum heart rate? We're going to cover that now for you, Dan. Thanks for that. The heart rate zones, great advice. So, once you get your head around the heart rate zones, you will be flying. Trust me, it's a great one. Once you understand, and it's really important for me, I'll just share my screen again. So if I just do this magical screen control, and if we take you guys back to here, you should see all the different heart rate zones. I think the big ones for me that you guys are across and that you guys are learning and understanding is heart rate zone 1, which is going to be for your recovery runs. Okay, so, and I will share my screen on here. So heart rate zone 1, and that's recovery. And this is probably a big one. And then heart rate zone 2 is endurance or stamina. And this is important as well for many reasons. So if we focus on them and we understand that if we're looking at this properly, we've got 50 to 60% is for heart rate zone 1 and 60 to 70% is for number 2. Now, some of you are already asking, you know, how do we work it out? I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. Now, for the mums and dads and players out there who just want to work this out pretty quick and accurate to a point where it's still going to be very effective, this is the simple way to do it. Now, you get 220, if I remember this right, and you minus your age. Okay? So, for me, because I'm really old, it's going to be 220 minus 21. Sorry, I wish I was 21. It's 220 minus 46. So that would give me a maximum of 174. Now, if you are aged 10, it's 220 minus your age, which would put you on 210. So you would now know that your BPM at the maximum is 210. So when we say the maximum, that is aerobic zone, anaerobic zone, number 5, okay? And that's how you would do it. That's a really quick way to do it. Now, if you want to get it as close as possible, and I'm talking within like milliseconds of the accuracy, there's another way we can do it, and I'll show you another way. And this is for the families who really want to get really set. So the other way you can do it is you can go 208 minus 0.7 times your age. Okay. So if you are 10, 0.7 times 10, if anyone's good at maths, you will know that it comes out to, what's 0.7 times 10, anyone? Is 7. Okay, and then from there, that's going to give you a more accurate reading. But I'll be honest with you, I've done it both ways over the years, and it comes out pretty same and pretty similar anyway. Give or take, it's not going to make a huge difference if I'm honest. So 220 minus your age, and it's going to give you your, basically what your top is. Then what we need to then do is then you need to work out your percentage. So let's do it for a 10-year-old, and I'll help you with this one. So if a 10-year-old is a maximum at 210, what we would do is you go 210, then you would divide it by 100, and that will give you, if anyone's good at the math, it will give you 2.1. And then you want to times that by, and let's say for zone 1 recovery, it sits between 50 and 60. So let's times it by 50. It gives us 105. Okay. And then we need to do it again. So then what we do is we go 210 again, divide it by 100. Okay. So we'll go straight back in again, and it should give you the same answer. It's 2.1. And then times it this time by 60, because we want to look at the top, okay? And when you times it by 60, you will find that, I think if my math is right, it should come out at 126. So you know, if you're 10 years of age and you want to go on a recovery run and you're focused on recovery, your heart rate needs to be between 105 and 126. So when you set it in your watch or in your phone or on your heart rate monitor, you'll set your bottom at 105, you'll set your top at 126. Now, When I used to do my marathon running and ultra marathon running, I used to always set it 2 to 3 points up and 2 to 3 points down. So I'll give you an example of why I used to do this. So let's say it's 105 to 126. So if we set it to say 108 and then we pull it in to say 123, basically what that means is when you set your alarms and you have an alarm bell ringing, it is likely to warn you a lot earlier before you actually go out of the zone. I got super detailed on my heart rate zones when I was running, and I was doing marathons and ultra marathons and our half marathons, and I didn't ever want to go out of the zone. I always wanted to be, if I'm recovery running, I want to be recovery running. Now on a couple of the times I got caught out and people would call me while I'm running, and because I was only on a recovery run, I'd answer the phone, I'd chat for 25 minutes to the kids, and then I'd check my watch, and my watch would say I'm running 80% and I'm in an aerobic zone. So you really want those alarms and buzzers to be set. If you are just watching it on your phone, or you're just watching it on your watch and you've only got one of the sort of lesser detailed watches that you've got to keep checking, every couple of minutes is a good way to go, and just keep an eye on it. But what you'll start to learn is you'll get to know your body, you'll get to understand the differences when you know you're going out of your zones. And it's funny, I think after probably 4 to 5 months of doing this with a Garmin and with an Apple Watch, I actually discovered that I could do it myself without actually needing a watch on. And I realised I'd done it as a test one day, and I set myself to do an aerobic zone run as I was preparing for a marathon in a few weeks. And I set it to 70 to 80%. I went out and done a 1 hour run. I recorded it, and I actually only went out of the zone for about 1 minute across the whole 60 minutes. So what you're going to find is that this is going to be super useful for you to learn about your body and understanding how far you can push your body and when you can't push your body. And this is a great thing for when you're going into games, but also it gives you an explainer in the descriptions on the right. So rather than maybe asking questions in the community, which you're welcome to, have a little read in the community when I drop this picture in, and it actually gives you the description of what each zone is. So if you now know, do you know what? I want to get faster, but my coach has told me I need to practice in target zone 3 and 4 to get faster. Then you can then start working on training programs in zone 3 and 4. Now you then will go, well, I know how to get into zone 3 and zone 4 because Coach Ray's told me. But also, I'll include this in a post within the school community, and I'll put all the different pictures up and a little bit of an explainer on the 220 minus your age. So if you're looking to do it, you can just set it to that 220 minus your age, and then it will give you a good guesstimate on your maximum, and you'll have a better understanding. Again, if you want to go for the more detailed one, I think it was 208 minus 0.7 times your age. Okay, and that's another good way of doing it as well. But hopefully that's helped you. I loved looking at this stuff because people always ask me a question and go, what does it take to make it as a professional football player? And I think as most of you are starting to realise now, there's a lot of answers. But if I could give it in a one sentence, it's having the 1%, doing all the stuff 1% better than everyone else. So when I say about doing the 1% better to you on the platform, if we're talking about, Ford Jokic has messaged me and said I'm doing a stamina run or an endurance run, I now know, and you know, Ford, that you know how to do that properly because I've now taught you how to get into the right zones. And you're in a true sort of developing phase. Now, where you're up against the problem is when you're at your club football and soccer, no matter where you are in the world, you don't know sometimes if what they're giving you to do is actually truly developing you at the club. But I've give you the 1%ers within football. You develop by being around players who are stronger, faster, technically better than you. Playing up at age groups is a great way of getting developed. And also a bonus can be having a really good coach. But you could have the worst coach in the world, but if you're training 3-4 nights a week with a group that's 2 to 3 years older than you, that's the 1% difference if you're going to make it or not. And it's the same with the zones and with the running. So I'm going to have a little look at the questions. And if anyone's got any questions other than what we've covered as well, feel free to drop them in. We've still got about 15 minutes to go. So I'm going to have a little look. So what's the safest and best way to find out our maximum heart rate? Well, hopefully, Dan H, we've covered that now. So it's 220 minus the age, or it's 208 minus 0.7 times the age. And that'll give you a more accurate way of looking at it. And then you then need to work the percentages out like we've just shown you. So hopefully that will give you a little bit more of an explainer. Thanks for the feedback, Norman Khaleesi. Amazing. And I'm just seeing if we've got any other questions in there. And I don't think we've got any other questions in there. What I am going to do is I will go to a very quick break for 60 seconds. Seriously, guys, if you've got any other questions, drop them in the questions for me. We've still got probably 13, 14 minutes to go. And I've got one thing I want to finish on this evening as well. So if we don't have any questions dropped in, I'll go through that last section and then we'll let you get on your way for the evening. And I look forward to jumping online tonight and chatting to everyone and posting all of the great stuff that we've spoke about tonight as well. So bear with us, guys, and we'll be back with you in 60 seconds.
You don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Goats grips, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.
These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. These stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch the goat sleeves now. You don't slip, you don't slide. Nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time, and these are featherweight and super comfortable.
Legend begins where heroes end.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards sliding all game. These are a game changer. Put them on, you don't even notice them. They're comfortable, keep you going until finish.
It shows how fast you move on the pitch because it's stuck to the shin bone and does not slip and slide all around your shin.
No distractions, no readjusting, just focus on the match.
Hi everyone, big thank you for coming back. So I just want to finish off on one thing. I don't think we've got any other questions in there. Khaleesi's saying she's just doing it to get to level 9. I love that. So Khaleesi's got a target and a goal within school. I am just going to finish off with a little bit of a run through and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on the school platform. And I probably shouldn't be giving Khaleesi any more because she is absolutely killing it at the moment. But here we go. Let's have a look. So we had a look at the leaderboards and there's different levels that you can get to. And I think if we have a look, I think Khaleesi's at level 6 at the moment, which is pretty impressive. Xavier is on level 5. Mitchell's on level 5. Cooper's on 5. Ford's on 4. So standard seems to be 4 or above at the moment. To get to level 9 is like the impossible mission. It's like Mission Impossible, but we'll teach you. But this is what I'm going to give you a little bit of advice over. Now, if you want to get some extra bonus points, okay, and you want to go up in these ranking points, and I'm talking if you want to get 10, 20, 30 points every time you do something, when I have put in a post, let's say I've put in a post here, if you put in a 1-word or a 2 or a 3-word reply, that's going to give you a couple of activity points. But if you leave it with a little bit of, say, what we call an open-ended question. So if I was to say, hope you get better soon, Ray, And then I might go, everyone else, what's your thoughts on the above? Now, if you now get people replying to this, so I might like it and I might say thank you, but then if other people then open up the question that you've asked and they reply within that chain, you get double and triple your points on your activities. So it's all about your engagement and being an active member of the community. And trust me, we've got some pretty big surprises coming up for the next 12 months ahead. So my advice would be on these leaderboards, you want to try and be, without giving away too much information, inside the top 5, and you want to be across the 7, the 30 and the all-time leaderboard, because we're going to have some pretty special things to announce over the next couple of weeks once we get there. So just making sure that you are getting that and you are coming in. I will just very quickly just show you on that screen, so you will see at the moment these are all the leaderboards that we've got. So this is where you need to be aiming for, and you just need to make sure that when you are within the chat here, if you go on any post and you just put a standard reply in, so if you were to just put a standard comment in at the bottom and just say like, well done, and hit comments, that's going to get you a couple of activity points. But if you ask a question within a question, so if you answer and then ask a question in the reply, that is going to give you triple and quadruple your points. So hopefully I haven't given too much of the game away. And Khaleesi's probably going to want to kill me because now I'm giving other people tips and tricks on how to get extra points and that. But it's all a bit of fun as well. And we want everyone to engage into the community and the platform. I don't believe we've got any other questions in there. I'm going to let everyone go because I do have a 7:30 meeting. I've got a very special call all the way back to Liverpool to one of our players actually, who we signed to Liverpool Football Club. And there is going to be a little bit of news on this. And we've got I believe, a special guest joining us over the Christmas period, all the way from Liverpool Football Club. So watch this space, everyone. I'll leave it with you guys. Have a great night. And as ever, if you need me, I'm online most days, 18, 19 hours on the platform. Drop me a DM, drop me a message, and I look forward to you all inside the community, and I'll see you all very soon.
You don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats Grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Ghost Grip, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.
These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there.